Hey, welcome back, guys. So we've got some more gaming news for you from this past week. It looks like we've got an article from VGC that states that the PS5 should be released on Friday, November 5th. And this is from multiple retailers who say that their source within Sony has been hinting at this date. And it also seems to be confirmed by Sony themselves because they have purchased a 7-day advertising block on the 7 days leading up to the 5th. Some bad news though is that not everybody's going to be able to get a console this time around because Sony had released a statement just a couple days ago stating that they have very limited supply and they don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the demand. And this is pretty normal with most console releases, but it seems to be exacerbated this year with the whole pandemic thing going on. So they have ramped up production, but they don't think that's going to start making a difference for quite a few months down the road. So if you do want to get the console right away, there are a couple ways you can try to increase your chances. One of which is on the PlayStation website. You can go there, and if you have a PSN account, there's a spot you can enter your information to be entered into a raffle for a pre-release pre-purchase release date. And so once they have that date available, you'll get an email, and then you can go ahead and pre-purchase the console from there. With that being said, though, we still don't have much information on pricing. So the estimates that we have right now is that one of the versions, which is the discless all digital, that's expected to be $399, and then the edition with the Blu-ray disc, that's expected to be somewhere between $499 and $599. And they are also limiting what you can purchase. So for example, if you are selected, you can only get one console and 2 controllers, and there's a couple other components as well, but there's no just buying in bulk or anything like that. Some other interesting news we got this last week was that Daedalic Entertainment is releasing a game called Gollum. So this is where you play the Lord of the Rings universe as the character Gollum from the movies, and it's going to be a pretty interesting one as far as I can tell, but most fans are pretty upset about this. Most people seem to say things like, why would we want to play as a crackhead, or why would we play as the meth addict from the Lord of the Rings movies. But I have a different opinion on it. I think it's actually going to be really good. So we got some details from Saeed Haberstroth, which is the game's director, and so she stated this is going to be a mostly stealth game with some heavy parkour elements to it and an emphasis on environmental puzzles. And so there's not going to be much combat. It's going to be a very story-driven game, and the actions you have throughout the game are going to have a ripple effect through the rest of the game. And you make your decisions through a conversation mini game that they have, and it's kind of like a multi-personality thing, so you're competing against yourself as Smeagol and as Gollum, like in the Two Towers and the scene when you see him arguing with himself while Frodo and Sam are sleeping, and he's arguing with himself about stealing the ring from them. It's going to be that type of game. I'm not sure how the mini game's going to work, but that's basically what it's been explained as, and I think it's going to be a good look into an underappreciated character, and one that actually had a really big role in the movies. And I think it's going to be cool to see kind of what his mindset is and how he deals with his issues and his multiple personality on his daily struggles. Now this game will be out on they didn't give a date. It's going to be sometime in 2021. This one's a very interesting story for any of you Star Wars fans out there. So we got another look at the highly anticipated Squadrons game, and that game is supposed to be coming out on October 2nd. And they also released a new trailer showing off the single player campaign, and they show off 2 different sides. So there is a dual part campaign. You'll be playing the first part as the Republic and then the second part as the Empire. And throughout the trailer, we get to see a lot of fan favorite characters. So it looks like you get to play alongside Leia Organa, Wedge Antilles, both from the original trilogy. And then there was a look at Hera Syndulla, which you'll remember from the Rebels TV show. And then on the side of the Empire, we also got to see Admiral Sloane, which actually wasn't in much of the visual media. You'd recognize her if you read the books. She's in A New Dawn and I think Aftermath. And so undoubtedly we'll see some more characters as the game's released there on October 2nd. And this is going to be on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. Alright, this game release is actually something I'm very excited about. This game is called Spellbreak, and it's going to be out tomorrow, September the 3rd. And Spellbreak is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, this game is a third-person battle royale game with a focus on magic. So think Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite, but with instead of using bullets, you're using fireballs and icicles and that sort of thing. So you have a choice between multiple mage classes. So you have Frostborn, who is going to be an ice mage. You have Conduit, who is going to be an electric mage. Pyromancer, who wields fire. The Toxicologist deals in poison damage. The Stone Shaper can manipulate earth, and the Tempest is able to control the wind. And this game, I was actually invited to a closed beta a few months back, and I can tell you that it's a very fast and fluid game, and it's really exciting. It's a lot of fun, and in my opinion, it blows Warzone and Fortnite out of the water. If you're more towards a fantasy vibe and you like to be a magic user in your games, then this is something that might really, tickle your fancy. So sticking with games that are supposed to be released this upcoming week, we also have WRC 9, and that's going to be released tomorrow the 3rd as well. And so if driving is your thing, then this is an officially licensed game for the WRC, and it's going to be basically putting you in the management role for a rally team. So you'll not only get to drive for your rally team, but you get to do all the business decisions like picking sponsors. You're going to pick like what kind of mechanics you have, who your co-driver is, and much more. And then there was an interview with Elaine Journio, who is the game's supervisor, and so he indicates that there's quite a few improvements and tweaks they've done to the physics and the force feedback, and the changes that they've done basically affect the weight transfer and momentum transfer and give the car a more consistent and realistic feel to them. And so this improvements that they made have actually been such an improvement that the real world rally drivers who came in to test the game this year, they were actually to hop right in and just drive like they would in the real world and set times at the rallies like they would in the real cars. And this is quite a big contrast from what we had last year, because at the release of WRC 8, they said they had a lot of problems getting the drivers into the games because most of the drivers are not gamers and they don't usually drive driving sims. So it's a big change to see that it's actually like on par with what the drivers are used to driving. So lastly, there's 2 additional game modes that they've added to the game. So the first game mode is going to be called Club Mode, and this you get to create your own championship, and then you can challenge either your friends or other drivers online to compete in your championship with leaderboards. And the second game is something that fans have been asking for a long time. It's called Co-Driver Mode, and basically it's just going to put you in the not the driver's seat, but in the passenger seat, and you'll be responsible for all the pace notes and trying to get your team to the finish line. And I just wanted to thank you guys for watching the episode here, and we'll see you next time.